Imagine being successful, wealthy, and influential. One day you're here, the next you're gone. This is the perplexing tale of Alexander Blake. Alexander Blake wasn't just another name in the bustling city of New York. He was a titan of industry, a man who turned dreams into reality. With numerous successful ventures under his belt, he was a beacon of ambition and perseverance, a testament to the American dream. But one day, this beacon flickered out. Just like that, Alexander Blake disappeared. His absence was felt immediately. The entrepreneurial world lost a visionary, a man who dared to defy the odds and redefine success. His friends lost a confidant, a source of inspiration and wisdom. His family, well, they lost a loved one. Alexander Blake was more than a successful entrepreneur. He was a son, a brother, a friend, and to some, a mentor. The shockwave of his disappearance rippled through the city. News headlines screamed his name, his face plastered on every newspaper and television screen. Where is Alexander Blake? Became the question on everyone's lips. The man who was once at the center of the spotlight was now the center of a citywide manhunt. Yet despite the media frenzy and the tireless search efforts, there were no leads, no clues, no signs of Alexander Blake. He had simply vanished. Investigators were left scratching their heads. How could a man like Alexander Blake, a man so visible in the public eye, disappear without a trace? It was a puzzle that seemed impossible to solve. Yet the more they dug, the more complicated the mystery became. Alexander Blake's life was not just a tale of success and ambition, it was now a tale of intrigue and mystery. One man, gone without a trace. The question is, where did Alexander Blake go? The city waits with bated breath as the curtain rises on this real-life vanishing act. A tale of success, of power, of a man who had it all, and then in the blink of an eye, didn't. The Alexander Blake enigma has just begun. In the wake of Alexander's vanishing act, investigators found themselves in a maze of confusion. Imagine seasoned detectives, experts at piecing together the most cryptic of puzzles, scratching their heads in disbelief. Alexander Blake, the brilliant entrepreneur, the vision behind a multi-million-dollar empire, had vanished into thin air. But here's the thing about mysteries. The more elusive they are, the more they enthrall us. And Alexander's case was no exception. It was as if he had stepped into a void, leaving not a single trace behind. No farewell notes, no suspicious transactions, no secret rendezvous. His life, as far as anyone could tell, was as ordinary as they come. A stark contrast to the extraordinary circumstances of his disappearance. Now, it's not just the local police who were stumped. Word of this enigma reached the ears of the federal agents. They swooped in, armed with their finely honed skills and top-notch technology. Surely they'd unearthed something, a tiny shred of evidence that had eluded the local police. But alas, even their efforts bore no fruit. Alexander Blake remained a ghost, a phantom that had slipped through the cracks of their intricate web. And it wasn't just the law enforcement that was left in the dark. The media, the public, everyone was gripped by this baffling case. It was as if Alexander Blake had become a modern-day Houdini, executing a disappearing act so flawless, it left the world reeling. The frustration of the investigators was palpable. They had been thrown into a labyrinth with no clear way out, a puzzle with missing pieces, a story with a beginning but no middle or end. Each day that passed only added to the mounting pressure. But despite the mounting frustration, the investigators remained resolute, determined to crack this case wide open. Even with the best minds on the case, Alexander Blake's disappearance remains a mystery wrapped in an enigma. And so we are left with more questions than answers. A jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces, and a story that is far from over. But rest assured, the search for Alexander Blake continues. When facts are scarce, theories abound. And in the case of Alexander Blake, there's no shortage of speculation. First, let's delve into the more sinister theories. Some say that Alexander's sudden disappearance screams of foul play. A successful entrepreneur like him would naturally have rivals, and it's not a stretch to think that one of them might have wanted him out of the picture. Could a business feud have escalated to kidnapping, or worse, murder? The absence of a ransom note or any communication from potential captors, however, makes this theory less likely. Then there are those who believe that Alexander may have staged his own disappearance. With his astute business acumen, they argue, he could have meticulously planned this vanishing act to to escape some unseen trouble. Maybe a business deal gone bad, or a looming scandal threatening to tarnish his sterling reputation. This theory, while intriguing, lacks solid evidence. Others propose that Alexander may have decided to abandon his high-pressure life for a fresh start. The allure of a simpler, anonymous life might have proved too strong for him to resist. But would a man who spent his entire life building an empire just walk away from it all? There's also the possibility that Alexander may have become a victim of his own success. In the cutthroat corporate world, success can make you a target. Perhaps Alexander had information that others would kill to possess. Or maybe he was the unfortunate victim of an elaborate corporate scheme. And let's not forget the wildcard theories: alien abduction, involvement in secret societies, or even the witness protection program. Outlandish as they may seem, in the realm of speculation, anything goes. But with every theory, there's a counter-argument. The lack of evidence, for one, makes it hard to conclusively support any of these conjectures. Theories, speculations, but no concrete answers. What really happened to Alexander Blake? Just when you thought the trail had gone cold, a surprising twist emerges. Imagine this: a successful entrepreneur, Alexander Blake, vanishes into thin air. No signs of struggle, no ransom note, not even a breadcrumb trail of clues. The world is left scratching its head, wondering what could have possibly happened. Theories and speculations abound, yet none seems to fit the puzzle perfectly. Until now. In a turn of events that no one could have predicted, a crucial piece of information emerges from the shadows. A forgotten email, buried deep in the archives of Blake's overflowing inbox, surfaces and throws a curveball into the investigation. This isn't just any ordinary email, it's a message sent from a mysterious sender, the content of which raises more questions than it answers. The email, dated a week before Blake's disappearance, contains a cryptic phrase: "The sun sets in the east," a phrase that seems out of place, out of context, but could it hold the key to understanding Blake's sudden disappearance? Perhaps. But how? As investigators delve into decoding this cryptic message, the plot thickens. Could this be a coded message from a potential suspect, or perhaps from Blake himself, signaling imminent danger? Or could it be a mere coincidence? A random phrase that means nothing in the grand scheme of things. The possibilities are endless, and each one is as intriguing as the last. This new development could change the course of the investigation. It could lead to new suspects, or perhaps even a motive. It could shed light on the dark corners of Blake's life, revealing secrets that were better left hidden. But as of now, it only adds to the mystery, deepening the intrigue surrounding Blake's disappearance. It's a twist that renews hope that the truth might be within reach. Yet it also deepens the mystery, casting a longer shadow over the case. The question remains, what does this mean for Alexander Blake? All we can do now is wait and watch as the layers of this intricate mystery slowly unravel. A twist that renews hope but deepens the mystery. What does this mean for Alexander Blake? As we delve deeper into the enigma of Alexander Blake, one question persistently echoes in our minds. We've journeyed together through the captivating mystery that is Alexander Blake's vanishing act, a tale so unnerving it could chill the bones. We've sifted through unseen clues, or rather the lack thereof, a puzzle that left even the sharpest minds scratching their heads. We've dived into the whirlpool of theories and speculations, each more bewildering than the last. And just when we thought we had a grasp on this enigma, we were hit with a shocking twist that threw us for a loop. Alexander Blake, the successful entrepreneur, the visionary, the man who seemingly had it all, vanished into thin air. As if he were smoke, he dissipated, leaving behind not a trace, not a hint, not a whisper. It's as though he simply ceased to exist. But people don't just vanish, they don't just disappear without a trace. Or do they? The impact of Alexander's disappearance on his loved ones and the community was profound, to say the least. The shockwaves that rippled through their lives have not yet subsided even after all this time. His absence is a void that can't be filled, a wound that won't heal. His family, friends, colleagues, and even his rivals are left grappling with the reality of his sudden and inexplicable disappearance. Yet the most disturbing part of this mystery isn't just Alexander's disappearance. It's the unanswered questions he left behind. The who, the why, and the how. Who would want Alexander gone? Why would he disappear without a word? How did he manage to vanish without leaving a trace? Each question leads to another, creating a perplexing maze with no apparent exit. And so we find ourselves at the heart of this mystery, standing at the crossroads of fact and speculation, reality and fantasy, truth and deceit. We're left with more questions than answers, more doubts than certainties, but perhaps that's the nature of mysteries. They lure us in with the promise of answers, only to leave us with even more questions. In the end, we're left with the haunting question: what happened to Alexander Blake?